Daf Chav Beis Amid Beis. I'm going to speak on machlekes between Rabbi and Chizkiah. Rabbi says any single time he says in Torah lo yoichal, you should not eat. It includes also not have any benefit from it. The Torah doesn't only mean not to eat. Torah also means not to have any benefit from it. Chizkiah says that no, that if Torah says not to eat, it doesn't mean you can have benefit. You can still have benefit from it. That's the machlekes Chizkiah and Rabbi. So we brought down yesterday. A connection to say that the wine we spill for Avodah Zarah has Torah's makashit to water. Torah says, just a second. Yeah, so we brought down a case of so we brought on a case saying that the blood is mutar by no, blood is able to have benefit from it. We explained why is blood able to have benefit from it. So we said blood is a yitzim cloud, blood is a exception to the rule, because blood is because Torah compares it and says that you could compare blood to water, just like water is spilled on the floor and people can benefit from it, so too blood can be spilled on the floor and people can benefit from it. That makes a lot of sense according to Rabbi, who says that anytime Torah says don't eat includes don't have any benefit from it. So according to Rabbi, since Torah said don't eat blood, which means blood, I need a special pasuk to tell us that blood is mutar by no. Where's that pasuk? The fact that Torah connected blood to water. But according to Chizkiah, says the according to Chizkiah, why did Torah connect blood and water together? What connection? Why is there a special pasuk that says throw the blood like water? What's the connection? Why does Torah have to tell you throw the blood like water? It can't be telling that's mutar by no, because from the fact that when Torah says that there's no pasuk that indicates that's also about no. Because le'echal doesn't mean don't eat and don't have any benefit. Le'echal only means don't eat. So if so, there's no pasuk telling us that's also about no. So I won't need any pasuk that tells us that's mutar by no. I'm answering the Gemara. Look at Rabbi Abba. He used this pasuk for that which Rabbi Abba said. Amar Rabbi Abba said in the name of Rabbi. How do we know that we learned about this a few times before? How do we know that the blood in Mesa Mikdash, the dam kachin, isn't machshir, meaning the blood isn't able to make something roy, to make something possible to become tumah, like we explained a few times. In order for something to become tummy, it has to be touched liquid before. But the blood in Mesa Mikdash, even if it touches an object, it does not make it mukhshir, it doesn't make it possible for it to become tum. Why not? Shanama says in pasuk it says regarding the blood in Mesa Mikdash, don't eat the blood, pour the blood like water. What does it mean, pour the blood like water? Dam shenishbach kamayim mashke machshir she'ein nishbach kamayim ena machshir. If you're going to pour the blood like water, meaning if it's going to be blood which is going to be beneficial and you're going to use it and you're just going to pour it away, so that type of blood is counted as liquid to make something tummy. But in Mesa Mikdash, which the blood wasn't poured, the blood was used for the mizbeach. So that blood isn't counted as liquid because it's not like water. It doesn't flow like water. It's thrown on the mizbeach instead, and therefore that blood is not counted as liquid to make something tummy. That's what Chizkiah uses the hekesh of the pasuk. So now we're continuing bringing proofs against Rabbi, who again, Rabbi said every single time he says in Torah, don't eat. Torah didn't only mean don't eat. Torah also meant don't have any benefit from it. Says the Gemara, if you have a limb from a living animal, and regarding a limb from a living animal, we all know that's also the sea, but it says in Pasuk, do not eat the soul with the meat. What does it mean? Do not eat meat that's coming from a living soul. And it says in a brayso regarding that pasuk, Rabbi Nassan says, "Minayin shleishit adam keis yain lenazid." How do we know that it's also for a person to stretch out or help a nazir to drink wine, or give a evim menachai, to give a living limb to a ben nayach, which evim menachai is one of the seven mitzvah. So in other words, how do we know that it's also to give something to someone? If that person is also to eat, like a nazir is also to drink wine, how do I know that I can't convince or I can't pour a nazir a cup of wine? Says in that you cannot put a stumbling block in front of a blind person, and therefore, just like in this case, a nazir is a blind person regarding wine, meaning you cannot feed the iser to the nazir if it's also for him. From the fact that the Mishnah said, the fact that Bryce said you can't feed the Eivim Nachai to a goy is mashma holiklavim mutar. It's mashma that to dogs. There's no problem. The Mishnah doesn't say you can't feed. The Bryce doesn't say you can't feed Eivim Nachai to a dog. The Bryce just says you can't feed Eivim Nachai to a goy, which is mashma that you could feed it to a dog, which would imply that Eivim Nachai, even though it's usher to eat, but it's mutter to have benefit from it. Says the question: how is Eivim Nachai mutter to have benefit if it's usher to eat? Which is against Rabbi's rule of anything which is also to eat, you cannot have any benefit from it. Says the Gemara. That Shani Eivim Nachai is different. Why? The Iskash Ladam. Eivim Nachai is mukush, is connected to blood. Torah connects the concept of Eivim Nachai to blood. And we just said before, just to remember, recap, that blood is mutter ba'ana, even according to Rabbi. You have a special pasuk that teaches blood is mutter to have benefit from it. So Eivim Nachai is mukush the blood. How do we know? Because it says in pasuk, rak chazak, make sure, levilti achil hadam ki adam hu nefesh. Don't eat blood, because the blood is the soul. And from the fact that the blood, from the fact that this pasuk comes just before the pasuk of Eivim Nachai, meaning the Torah is connecting the pasuk of Eivim Nachai to the issur of eating blood. Just like the issur of eating blood is mutter ba'ana, so to the issur of Eivim Nachai is also mutter ba'ana, and therefore it's not a question on the babo, because this is a yetzer manakal, this is a exclusion to the rule that even though usually you cannot, something you can't eat, you can't have benefit from it, but over here Torah Beferish says that you could have benefit from it, which Torah told us that through connecting it to blood. The Gemara asked the Gemara according to Chizkiah, that says that anyway things that you can't eat are mutar ba'ana. Why did Torah have to make a special connection between Eivim Nachai and blood? According to Rabbi, the connection is to teach us that's mutar ba'ana. But according to Chizkiah, it's anyway mutar ba'ana, because anytime there's no, unless you have a pasuk that indicates that it's asur ba'ana, it's mutar ba'ana according to Chizkiah. Says the Gemara, Chizkiah would answer you, Dam hu iskish le'Eivim Nachai, that blood is connected to Eivim Nachai. What does that mean? It's to teach us, it's not according to Rabbi, the hekesh, the connection is to connect Eivim Nachai to blood. According to Chizkiah says no, the Torah is not connecting Eivim Nachai to blood. The Torah is connecting blood to Eivim Nachai to teach us a din in blood. So according to Rabbi, the connection is to teach us a din in Eivim Nachai, but according to Chizkiah, it's to teach us a din in blood. That what? That dam ma Eivim Nachai asur, just like Eivim Nachai, just like a limb from a living thing is asur. Af dam minachai asur. So to blood from a living thing is asur. What does that mean? Blood from a living thing. The dam. What blood is coming from a living thing is dam hakaza shanefesh yetzeba, which is dam of an injection of an animal that the blood comes out. Because the Pasuk Pshat and Pasuk, when Torah mentions blood regarding a dead animal. How do we know that blood from a living animal is asur? That's where we have a connection, according to Chizkiah, to tell us that blood is connected to Eivim Nachai. Just like Eivim Nachai is asur, anything that comes from a living animal, so too, the blood that comes from a living animal is also asur. Mark goes further, asking questions on the Babo, which Rabbi said that every single time Torah said don't eat, Torah men don't have any benefit. Says the Gemara, but we see how can you say that anything which is asur to eat is also that benefit? But Asher and Niska regarding the din of Asher and Niska. So the din that if Asher gores someone and kills him, he has to get stoned. It says in Pasuk that the ox has to get stoned. The Rachmana Amar, the Torah said that you should stone the ox. I'm sorry, do not eat its meat. Torah says don't stone. Torah says to stone the ox and do not eat its meat. Tanya, we have a braisa on that. So now, which Torah already told us, you have to stone the shor. Why does Torah have to tell you? Stone, number one, stone the shor, and number two, don't eat meat from the shor. It doesn't make sense. If Torah says to stone the shor, once you stone the shor, it becomes an avela, and an avela is anyway also to eat. You can only eat an animal which is shechted. Animal which was stoned, you can't shech. You can't eat. So why does Torah have to tell you don't eat meat from this ox? So why is Torah telling you don't eat? Torah telling you a special case. It can't mean don't eat after you get stoned. Torah must be speaking about so Torah is telling you it's based in Paskin, let's say that the shter has to get stoned, and before Bezin had a chance to stone it, he shechted the ox. So then it's asur. Okay. To teach us, so the pasuk teaching us a special din that if someone shechted the stone before the ox before it got stoned, it's asur to eat. It's asur to have any benefit. It's asur to have any eating benefit from it. Torah only says that you can't have any benefit from it. You can't have any eating benefit from it. How do we know that you can't have any benefit from it? How do we know that if he took the ox and he shechted it, and he took the ox and he shechted it before Bezin had a chance to stone it, that he cannot sell the meat, for example? The pasuk continues and says, "Baal hasher naki." The owner of the sher, the owner of the ox, should be clean, right? So the pasuk is that after you stone the ox, then the owner of the ox is clean from his sins. My mashma, but the Gemara learns deeper and says, what is the inner meaning of Baal Asher Naki? The owner of the ox is clean. Shimon ben Zayma says, like a person who tells his friend, Yatsa pleni naki min chasav. This person was clean. It's an expression they had in those days. He was clean from all his possessions. Meaning he doesn't have any benefit. He doesn't have any connection to all his possessions. Okay. So we see a special din that a share and niskal, a share that's supposed to get stoned. Number one is asur to eat, and number two is asur to have benefit from it. Says the Gemara, time of the kasa bala share naki. The only way I know that a share and niskal, that a share and niskal is asur to have benefit from it, because Torah specifically says ubala share naki, the owner of the ox should be clean. The mashma is according to Rabbi, who says that anytime Torah says don't eat, is mashma don't have benefit. Why do I need a special pasuk to teach us that the ox is asur ba'ana? From the fact that Torah told you already don't eat it, it's already mashma according to Rabbi that you can't have any benefit from it. So I don't have an extra few words to teach us don't have any benefit from it. Says the Gemara. It's not a question. I can tell you really, Isra Achila, when Torah says don't eat, it means don't eat from it and don't have any benefit from it. Why does it have an extra pasuk to teach us that don't have any? What does Baal Asher Naki mean? What's the Torah adding by saying that the owner of the ox should not have any benefit from it? We already know it shouldn't have any benefit from it. Says the Gemara to teach us it shouldn't have any benefit from the skin of the animal. Why do you have to have a special limit for the skin of the animal? Because I could think when Torah says don't eat, Torah means don't eat its meat. And don't eat its meat also means don't have any benefit from its meat. Maybe I can have I can't have any benefit from its meat, but maybe I can have benefit from its skin. And that's why I'm sharing this kind of a special pasuk to teach us that not only you can't have any benefit from its meat, you also can't have any benefit from its skin. Says the Gemara all the way back. There's other Tanoim who use this pasuk of Baal Asher Naki for other dinim to teach us. Some people say, number one, lachatzi kefer, that the person who once Bezin stoned the ox, the person is clean from his sins when he doesn't have to pay any money. Also, some other Tanoim learn out from V'lit Mevla. They said this share niskal, this share, if he gets stoned, and if he gored a pregnant lady, and her kids came out, that once the ox is stoned, then the owner of the ox does not have to pay for the babies. So how do these Tanoim know that's also to use the skin of the animal? According to the Rabbi, we said that since lo yachal means don't have any benefit from it, the extra 3 words it says Baal Asher Naki teaches us that you can't have any benefit even from the skin. But what if these other Tanoim use this pasuk for other learnings, for other teaching? So how do they know that you can't have any benefit from a skin of a share in this? Said the Gemara, nafkalomi es besari. They learn out from the extra word of es besari. Terry says that es besari lo yechal es besari. Do not eat its meat. Why does Terry add the word its? Meaning in English, why does Terry add the word es? Terry just said lo yechal besari. Don't eat the meat. For the fact that Terry added the extra word of es, it's to teach us not only the meat is also no, but also es hatafel is means anything which is extra to the meat, which is also the skin, is also asaba no. And also the question throws back on the Babal. What does the Babal do with this extra s? You can't teach us. Rabbi learns that which the pasuk continues and says Balashay Naki is speaking about you shouldn't have any hana, you shouldn't have any benefit from the skin. So if that's teaching us you shouldn't have any benefit from the skin, why does the pasuk say as? We have an extra word in the pasuk. Says the Gemara, as leidorish. It's Bechlal, this Tana Rabbi is following, does not follow the opinion that the word S in Torah has to be learned out from. Meaning S is an extra, that's the way Torah speaks. Shimon Asmeni, though someone called Shimon Asmeni, some people say his name was Nechemia Asmeni. He would Derish, meaning he would learn out new dinim from every time Torah said the extra word of S. When he came to the pasuk that said "Es Hashem lekachatira," that you should fear the Eibishter, Pirish. He didn't have any extra. He didn't have any limud. He didn't have any anything to teach us. Why not? Because usually the word "es" means to add on. That you should fear also, like the case of the share, that not only the S, not only the meat is asbana, S beside also the skin is asbana. When it comes to S Hashem lekachatira, when it says to fear the Eibishter, you can't tell me you have to fear someone else. It's a pirish. He didn't have anything to learn out from the extra word of S. The teachers told him, his students told him, Rabbi, if you're going to stop saying this S, if you're going to stop teaching us what this extra word S means, so what's going to be with all the times you did teach us what S means? Meaning, is S something extra or it's not extra? Answer them, just like I got reward of limdat Torah for all the S's that I taught. I will also get reward for stopping to teach things that I don't know. So he said basically, I don't know what this S means, so I'm stopping to get into this whole limud of S, and I'm stopping. Actually, what Rabbi Akiva came and said that S Hashem lekachatira, the extra word of S is to teach us a very special din. The Rabbi is to teach us that not only you have to fear of the Eibishter, you also have to fear Talmidei Chachamim, and like it says that that the fear of your teacher should be like the fear of the Eibishter. So okay, the Gemara got a bit sidetracked, but the Nakuda was that S Besare, the word S doesn't always have to be if the word S always has to be extra or it's not extra. So therefore, Rabbi does not have to answer why it says the extra word of S regarding the pasuk of S Besare, because that's just the way Torah speaks. So the Gemara asks a further question about Arla, regarding the sin of Arla. Yeah, we all know there's the first 3 years of a tree, you cannot eat the fruit. The Torah said regarding the fruits of Arla, you should not eat the fruits. And it says in the Brisa, it says in the pasuk, don't eat. How do you know you can't have any benefit from the fruits? So you shouldn't use the fruit as dye or as coloring. Or you should not use the fruits for oil, make oil and use them to light a candle. Torah doesn't only say Torah doesn't say don't eat the fruits. Torah says the word arla is brought down 3 times in the pasuk. The Rabbi says call him to teach us not only arla is us to eat, but the extra words that says arla is to teach us you can't have any benefit. So the question is, according to the Rabbi, Taima, how do we know the arla is asur? Bana is asur that benefit the cost of Nachman v'aratim or lasarelim. The 3 times it says arla, halab achi. Torah didn't say arla 3 times. I would think isar chila mashma that arla is only asur to eat. Isar na'ale mashma, but it's mutter to have benefit from it. How can we say that arla is mutter to have benefit from it if, according to Rabbi, every time it says in Torah don't eat, it also means don't have any benefit from it? Answers the Gemara, Rabbi says no. I stay with my shita. My shita is that isar chila layachel means don't eat and don't have any benefit from it. Why does Torah say 3 times the word arla? Shani hasam dichsev lachem. Because over there the Torah said that arla should be for you. The Torah stuck extra word lachem for you. Vitzich. And therefore, since Torah said for you, I have to teach as a special din that it's asaba no. Because why? Because Torah said the arla should be for you. That maybe you can't benefit from it. And therefore, Torah specifically had to teach us that you cannot have any benefit from arla. So the other way around now, after we have Psukim that teach us that you can't have any benefit from Arla, so what does the word Lachem mean? What does it mean for you? Answer the Gemara, look at the Tanya, Lachem, Rabbi, Torah. There's a price that says the extra word Lachem comes to include in Isra Arla not only that your fruits are also, your trees are also for Arla, but also and the Torah trees which are public domain, which is like the council trees or the trees in the street, are also for Arla. Rabbi Yehuda argues with that opinion, and Rabbi Yehuda says, Yehuda says, no, Lachem doesn't mean that there should be mutter, but there should be asaba no. Lachem means that you, meaning there is a certain aspect of you having hana from Arla, which that would be a public domain. So we have machlekes between Rabbi Yehuda and Chacham. Chacham said if you have a trees of a public domain or a public property are asaba no, and Rabbi Yehuda says that they are mutter ba no. We're going to stop over here at the top of the Chav Gimel Amud Aleph.